Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 143. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty, Kevin Ardall. If you want to get involved in the show, go ahead and blue sky at us. I am at Master B. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is Emerald Bowler on X. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C to Believe, SEA to Believe. Subscribe to us on YouTube and tell us what you think of the topics we talk about in the comments below. Well, we've been off for a little bit and month actually, and luckily it's been all pretty good actually for the most part. So while we were away, the Seattle Seahawks had four games and they won all four of them. They were at the Falcons and won 37-9. Then they beat the Indianapolis Colts 18-16 at home, followed by a Thursday night football game that they won in epic fashion 38-37. And then they just played on Sunday, beating the Carolina Panthers 27-10 in Charlotte. So, Sean, what have you thought of the Seattle Seahawks this past month?
They're 4-0. Two blowout wins and two squeakers. I don't know how you can be upset about it. I mean, I guess technically you could have four blowout wins, I guess, if you really wanted to, but as long as you're 4-0 at the end of the day, and like we said, you squeak out against the good teams. Good teams beat good teams. They beat the Rams OT. Got some luck, but hey, it happens. We got unlucky the first time we played them, and the luck flipped this time. So no qualms here. We played two bad teams, I would say, Carolina, Atlanta. Put it to them pretty good, and then I would say the Colts are with their quarterback situation were probably a bad team, and that one kind of didn't go as planned. But at the end of the day, you get a win. You play pretty bad against the Colts, all things considered, and still get the win. That's what good teams do, also. So, and yeah, like I said, you beat up on the bad teams. So that's pretty much perfect. No complaints over here. Again, everyone wants, Sam Darnold will be thrown for 300 yards, and why are we running for 400 yards, and why is their defense scoring more than 3 points? It's all nitpicky stuff. At the end of the day, the defense has been great in three of the four games. One of the games, that's Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. They're really good at football. That offense is clicking. They're really good. So they're going to put up 37, but you beat that game in the end. And then on the other side of the ball, yeah, everyone's like, oh man, this offense is struggling. In three of the four games, they put up 27 plus points. So I guess the defense had some defensive scores in there, but still, overall, they're chugging along 4-0. It's all roses now. 13 and 3. Gosh, I can't keep track of the new freaking 17 game schedule. 13 and 3. Yeah.
Kevin, what have you thought of the Seahawks these last 4 weeks?
It's terrible. It's over. Season lost. Yeah. At least we got the number one overall pick. Oh wait, that's Pete Carroll, who's about to probably lose his job in the offseason. But uh,
Burn.
yeah. So no, it's been good. Definitely some hiccups, not as strong, but like Seahawks fans need to realize that other teams are paid to play football as well. Like so. Um, Everything's looked good. Injuries kind of scare me a little bit. But I mean, there's so much depth though too. Like, and I don't know if you guys saw some of the highlights from the freaking Panthers game where Okada's just everywhere on dudes, and I was just like, oh my God, oh, makes me happy inside. So, overall, I can't complain other than Anthony Bradford still is just not great. But um, there's more highlights of him just honestly, just barely playing out there. I mean, there are some moments where he's just like, oh, I guess I'll turn it on, be somewhat of a football player. And then there's sometimes where, well, the majority of the time where he's just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm just standing here. I'm going to watch you go by me. Or he'll fall over or tackle his own guy. Yeah. So, no, overall, I'm very happy. We pretty much have everything in our own hands. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think there have been times where it's not looked great, but overall the wins are the important thing. I mean, the Falcons game was like 6-3 at halftime, and then they really got going there in the second half. The Colts game, that was just a weird week, man, especially with all the Philip Rivers stuff getting called out of retirement. And it was just like a thing of like we just can't lose to this 44-year-old quarterback. And I'll give Phillips some credit. I mean, he came out off the street and didn't look as bad as everyone thought he would, and he kept them in the game for the most part, but well, the defense, but they had the lead there for quite a bit. So, six Jason Myers field goals. We don't want to do that again. We don't want to do
I
that
mean, he
again.
looked okay. Took 100 yards. He didn't. It looked like
He
he lit
looked.
the world on fire.
I mean, for what people were expecting, like I expect him to get hit and just be done after like a couple, but they kept him upright
Yeah,
pretty well.
that
So
was a shocking part. But like
yeah, other than
50
him
was like
falling
just
over a
running
couple
back.
times and just getting
Yeah,
touched, like he
yeah.
for a 44-year-old coming off the street as a high school football coach, that was
He does have extra cushioning now to take some of those
he
hits.
does.
Let's be nice about that.
He
Yeah, like
does.
that's the nice way to say that. But
Yeah.
it does look pretty silly to see him in pads with how big he's gotten. But yeah, it's he looks like a guy who's played football before.
But
Like, I'll
hasn't
give
played
him
in a
that.
while. Hasn't played in a
Yeah,
while. Reset that Hall of Fame eligibility for himself too. The LA Rams, that was a just a well, first of all, let's just get the cat out of the bag. Sean and I's parents went and left early. So shame on grandma and grandpa. Very much shame on grandma and grandpa. Number two, uh I mean, that game was not looking good. The second Sam Darnold pick, I went to go play hockey, and I knew we were gonna have the game on anyway. So I'm listening to the radio, and then you've got Rashid Shaheed with the return. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And so I get there, they have the ball back, and then they score again. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the 2-point conversion, that is a weird play. Worked out in our favor because you keep playing and pick up the ball. Well done, Zach Charbonnet. Um,
well, I
that
want to say
that
this.
is
Zach
a weird
Charbonnet
play.
not. He's not intending to. It was just pure like him being a gentleman, like him just picking up the ball for somebody else. It's not like he ran over. And was like, I got to finish this play. He's like, I'm near it. I'll just pick it up for the ref. That's what he did,
I
and it
mean,
worked out.
that's I
It worked out.
we'll give it credit. Give him a little bit of credit for being courteous, I guess, right?
Is
Because it
that
worked.
being
Yeah,
courteous got us the tie game and
yeah,
ultimately led to a win. So yeah, no, Zach Charbonnet being very courteous led us to a win.
yeah. And then in overtime, they scored, and then the Seahawks got the ball back, drove down the field, and then when they got the touchdown, we stopped playing, and I was like, they better go for two here. Like, what? Why are we trying to tie? And they did, and it worked, and it was beautiful. So what a great game. And happy we came out on the positive side of it. And then the Panthers last week. Um, the Panthers are just well, first of all, I hate them because they eliminated me from my survivor pool, and I was top five. I could have gotten more money, so thanks, Panthers. But um, they it was again a kind of a closer game, and then the Seahawks eventually pulled away. So that kind of has been a bit of a theme in some of their blowout wins. But overall, 4 wins. Happy to see it. And then they are playing for the number one overall seed in the NFC West on Saturday, January 3rd. The Seahawks and the 49ers played in the first game of the season. The 49ers won 17-13. So I'm gonna throw it back to Kevin here. Uh, what are your thoughts looking at this game now after the first game of the season, and give me a prediction?
Two completely different teams. Um, yeah. I mean, of course, it's the same roster, but like week one is always just like it could be anybody's thing, just because you have a new roster, you're coming in, you're trying to figure out, especially with us trying to figure out our new identity with like new OC and some pieces, and 49ers a little bit more banged up, but their offense is a little bit more clicking than what I would say what it was last time, but um. It's definitely, but our defense also better than what it was week one. And our offense is just kind of hot and cold. Um, this game is going to be very, very interesting. Coming off, honestly, I think it's kind of a trap game for the Niners, in my opinion, just because they're coming off a crazy like win over the Bears and stuff along that line. They're gonna be so hyped, and then you're just gonna run into that buzzsaw that is the Seahawks defense. Are we giving predictions at the moment?
Yeah, go. Oh, well, let me tell you, the spread is Seahawks -1.5, and the over under or total points is 49.5, which
Oh, and I also have to remind people that we are like really, really good on the road. Like I don't know why. We just are. That doesn't mean that it's sealed locked in the course. It's gonna be a crazy game. I think it's gonna be closer than what people think. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say 28-24 Seahawks.
Sean, what you got?
Well, one, I want to address this, Kevin. I think you said trap game. That implies one team's bad and one team's really good. I don't know if that
Oh,
applies here because they're both really
well,
good.
I
So
think it's just a game that they think is going to be more in their favor when it's not. Like they're going to base it all off of like week one, which they shouldn't. Like
I don't know if anybody's thinking that. I think
fans might.
I don't know. Like it, I think the 49ers know more than anybody that this game is so different than week one. I mean, I think both fans think it's different. Like you said, like well, Kittle, Trent Williams, and Ricky Pearsall are all kind of nicked up right now. So it's going to come down to health for both of these teams. Like how much does cross play? Does like all these things? Like so many factors is going to be health. I think at this point. And kudos to the Falcons for so even if we lose this game, we're still the 5 seed to play the Panthers. But man, like shout out Falcons. Awesome. But yeah, it's gonna be a slugfest. The 49ers, since Brock Purdy got back, have really, really clicked on offense. It was, I think, obviously, since the Bears game, it was the first time they had punted in almost 2 months. So they put up what 37 points in at least, and they've topped 43 times. They've topped 37 4 of their last 6 games, and the other 2 games was because they were resting people because it was 20-9 and 26-8. They weren't playing anymore um, against Browns and Panthers. So this offense is clicking. I guess the one part's going to be you're going to have to get after Brock Purdy because this team can't run the ball at all. That includes Chris McCaffrey. He's just running to a wall at this point because no one's blocking or anything. So, but they are killing people through the air. So you've got to get after Brock because watching that Bears game, you give him a little bit of time. Kyle Shanahan's a freaking wizard back there. They're gonna scheme up something. They're gonna find somebody open. Brock does enough with his feet that he buys some time, sneaky athletic, and you've got to get in his face. And you got to get in his face probably with 4 and let your corners do some work. But Kyle Shanahan he's a mad dude back there. So I think that's the key to the game. But either way, slugfest. And again, thanks for the Rams for losing. So then I'm not like pulling my hair out. So if we were to lose this game, we'd have to go on the road to some Eagles or something like that. We get like hopefully an easier road of it here now. So it's even the worst case scenario is not like end of the world. I don't think so. If I give prediction, I go 31-28 49ers.
Yeah, yeah, the first game was just kind of like not great play, kind of sloppy. A defensive battle, but a defensive battle in the fact that the offense just couldn't really do a whole lot
I
or
think both
couldn't really get
defenses,
going.
Matthew, are
Both
good, but
defenses are good,
the offenses didn't help that. Like they didn't
but
play
in
great.
week one, I would say that both
Yeah.
offenses were just not great, and it was the defensive showdown for sure. Certainly different circumstances this time. Both offenses seem to be playing a lot better coming into this one. Um, I think the factor for the 49ers is Christian McCaffrey for the most part, running, receiving, however they use him, that's the guy you're going to need to stop the most. And we'll see if the Seahawks can do that. Um, Offensively, got to get going a little bit earlier if you're the Seahawks. You can't have a 3-point first half because that will probably put you behind a little bit more than you're likely able to come back from in such a big game against a team that is also eyeing the number one seed. Um, it's I think it's going to be interesting. It's 49.5. You guys, well, Sean took the over. Kevin took the under. It's -1.5. I think it is a 1-point game. I think these teams are very, very close, very evenly matched. I don't think home field really makes a difference here, especially with the Seahawks being pretty solid on the road this season. It's uh like I feel like my brain wants to believe the 49ers will win this game, but my heart is fully on board with the Seahawks. Um, I am going to take the Hawks. I'm going to go 28-27. I think it is a 1 point game, and the Seahawks take it by 1 point. Um, and to be the one seed would be beautiful. And I believe the other two times they were the one seed, or the other three times they were the one seed, they went to the Super Bowl. So uh, that's certainly not necessarily a given, especially this year with teams being hot and cold and up and down, and one game, anything can happen. But certainly locking up that one seed. But the 5 seed, as Sean mentioned, it's going to come down to the Bucks or the Panthers. You already beat the Panthers just very recently. The Bucks, they did lose to the Bucks early in the season, but they have kind of fallen off quite a bit
Kind
since
of. That
that.
is not the same Bucks team. Kind
It,
of
it,
like
well, it's just the thing of I don't know what happened. They did have some injuries, of course. Baker has been playing hurt, but they just, from
they
where
ran
they
so
were.
Baker couldn't do anything wrong in the beginning. They were just so hot. Everything was just working on offense for them, and when everything wasn't lining up and going perfect, they've fallen apart. Like
But here's the thing, because if you think about it, let's look at the NFL standings. Because if the Seahawks were to fall to 5, um, if you have the Rams presumably going to Philly or Chicago, I guess it depends on how if Chicago wins, they'd take the 2.
yeah, let's
So
just assume they both win. So it's Chicago the two, Philly
so you'd
three,
have the Rams going to the Eagles and the
Packers
Packers
going to
going to the
Bears.
Bears. So you could conceivably have the Seahawks playing the 49ers once again in 2 weeks. Or no,
Well, no,
two.
you wouldn't be playing them because you'd be the 5 seed. So that means either the Rams or the Packers would both have to lose, I guess, then for you to then do that. Which I wouldn't bet on Rams and Packers losing to Bears and Eagles. One of those two teams is going to win. So I would say you're probably going to be playing the Rams then at that point. I think the Rams would beat the
I
Eagles
don't how would that so if you got the 1 seed
because
left, the
you're the
5,
five
the
seed in that
4, the
scenario,
5,
and
the
the one
6,
seed
and
always
the
plays the lowest seed. So that like that in order for us to play the 49ers in the one, both
you'd have to have
other division winners have to win, and I
yeah,
don't think that's
okay.
going to happen. I think the
Okay.
wild card teams
Okay.
are going to beat up on these division winners.
You think the
Basically, it
Packers are
comes
going
down
to
to
beat
I
the
think the
Bears?
NFC West is going to kick the crap out of some teams.
You
Is
think
what's
you
going to
think the
happen.
Packers would beat the Bears and or the Eagles?
I think the Rams are going to be the dangerous one, but the Packers could. I think the Bears are probably the weaker of the two
No.
teams, and I think the Packers could. But I wouldn't be. I was talking to a buddy of ours. I wouldn't be shocked if all the wild card teams won. Let's say the Seahawks win and it's 49ers, Rams, and Packers. I could see all of them winning. Like really, in theory, because the only one there, but those two NFC West teams, the three NFC West teams are the best three teams in the NFC. I think clearly, right now.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't agree with that, but
who's better? Who's better? You better not say the Bears or the Eagles.
I think the Bears and the Eagles could easily beat either of those teams.
No,
And if
not
you ask,
easily. I don't think they're
I
even.
think they could. Yeah,
They
absolutely.
could, but I don't think
Yeah,
easily.
I I think they could. Fine, take the
I,
easily out. I think they could beat those two teams.
yeah,
Is that
the
better?
Panthers could beat the Rams too, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like they're just not a great. The
Well,
Eagles
well,
just are
well, what
not.
I'm saying is it could end up to where you face the 49ers in 2 weeks again. It could.
It could, but like it
Yeah.
would then it would.
Yeah.
I think both of those teams will be the favorites, and yeah, you'd have to get unlucky to have to face them, but it wouldn't probably roll that way. One of the two teams would lose,
I guess
I think.
I guess we're all in the hypothetical scenario here, but I guess we'll see what happens.
The
So
NFC West is just juggernauts. Like that's what they are. I think they're just absolute juggernauts. Those three teams, and I'm hoping you only have to play one of the three out of the two
I
in the
wouldn't
scenario.
call them juggernauts. I would say strongest teams certainly. I wouldn't say juggernauts, but because they've all had their flaws, their hiccups this season. So I one game obviously anything could happen. A juggernaut implies to me that it would be very unlikely for them to lose, and I don't think that is what I would say personally. So
I mean, we've all seen Eli Manning lame duck his way to the Super Bowl and beat a juggernaut, so it happens. It's one game.
Fair, fair.
Moved it
Let us
twice
know
actually.
what you think of the Seahawks as well as the San Francisco game on Saturday at 5 p.m. just on ESPN, just to make sure anyone who is out there and wants to watch, you've
Okay,
got the right information there.
Can I shout out what I want to do real quick?
What's up?
I want the Bucks to win on Saturday. Everybody all hyped, and then the Falcons to win, and then the Panthers still go, and there's and then there's sub 500 winner because the sub 500 winner is just super fun anyway. So yes, if the Bucks win, but then the Falcons win, there's a three-way tie, but the Panthers get the tiebreaker, so they would go at 8-9, and I want that to happen because it's hilarious because of all the hoopla about the Seahawks being the first team with a sub 500 record. Now it'll happen like what 4 times since then or something like that. It'll be
Uh,
hilarious.
but don't forget their, the sub 500 record, they did win that playoff game too.
It
So
has not happened since, so the odds are pretty good. It doesn't happen
the
usually.
odds are pretty
You get
good,
lucky
but
once in a while.
you
You get
never
lucky
know.
once in a while.
You never know. All right. Let us know what you think of the Seahawks as well as the game against San Francisco on Saturday. Go ahead and blue sky at us. I'm at Master B. Sean is at Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is at Emerald Bowler. On X, Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is at C2Believe, SEA2Believe on Twitter. Subscribe to us. Let us know what you think of the topics we talk about. Gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about the Mariners since, we just did some Seahawks. We haven't talked about the Mariners in a while, so I want to talk a little Mariners before while we have some time. So let's talk about the biggest news. Sean Beatty got a Josh Naylor jersey for Christmas, and that means, yes, Josh Naylor is here for 5 more seasons. He signed a 5-year deal. When was this? November 16th. Oh man, it was a while ago. So he signed a 5-year deal worth $92.5 million with no deferrals. He was traded for from the Diamondbacks mid-season and was a big part of them reaching the ALCS. So, Kevin, how excited are you about this news? And did you also get a Josh Naylor jersey?
I did not. I was super pissed off about this news. I just hate no, I'm kidding. I was a very happy boy when I heard this news. Like as you mentioned, he was a very big part of our playoff push, and honestly, I think he's going to be a big contributing factor going forward, just because the dude's a dude. If that makes sense. He's a dude. No, I mean, I eventually would like it. I actually got a Cal Raleigh t-shirt, like the jersey t-shirt thingy, bobber. So I was pretty happy about that, but no, I'm ecstatic. First base is essentially locked down. He could also DH too at times, but majority is probably just gonna play first base and be a sexy kid at first and hitting dingers. So I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think when he came over, he just fit in really well with Seattle. Uh, the he's got Seattle vibes. I'll just say that. He just got the Seattle Freeze vibes. Like, walking down the street, he's not gonna say anything, but if you like start a conversation with him, he'd be a pretty cool guy. So, great to have him here for 5 more years, especially with the way he played. I did get a Cal Raleigh jersey, a City Connect, so did Sean for Christmas. And then I got an AL West Division Champion sweatshirt. So I got all Mariners swagged out this Christmas. But yeah, very happy to see Josh Naylor playing first base for the Mariners for the foreseeable future. And it's just, one more guy that you want to come out and buy a ticket for. So uh, awesome to see him come back, especially with how well he gelled with this team, and it's just exciting to have a lot more players that are going to be here for a while, and you're going to root for a bit. So, Sean, what do you think?
I mean, I said this when it came over. He's not even really a dinger guy, but his swing fits so well for this ballpark,
Oh yeah.
like gap power. And apparently, he just steals bases now at a crazy rate, the second slowest person in baseball, and he's 30 of 32 for stolen bases. They just send him. Eric Young Jr. needs to sign a lifetime deal for the Mariners. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, he's a great fit. He's amazing fit. That's why I wanted his jersey. I think he's going to fit great here, and he's here for a long time. So yeah, it's a solid hitter. First base has been a very, very weak spot for us for a long time, and it's something we don't have to worry about anymore. It's a weird feeling to not have to worry about first base. So, um, pretty excited about that. Now let's get one more.
And then on the flip side, I did want to mention Jorge Polanco. He is no longer a Seattle Mariner. He has signed with the New York Mets. I don't have the deal details, but he is now a New York Mets. So, Sean, what did you think of Jorge Polanco?
Um, he got more money than I would probably be willing to give him at his given his age and everything like that. I wish him the best of luck because for a guy that got ridiculed a ton the year before, he deserves a statue in Seattle almost after his playoff run that he went on. Dude was clutch. So I don't, man. Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. His playoffs was great, and his start of the season he was playing like better than Aaron Judge. No one hardly remembers that. It feels like forever ago. But now, if without him we weren't here, and I'm happy he got his bag and for the Mets, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy he got his bag. Would not have given him that again, but can't complain. He did what he did here. Got paid, so good on him, and I'll wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, it was tough because, I was at the game where he hit the walk-off to put the Mariners in the ALCS. So definitely bittersweet because he did so much for the Mariners this season, and it's always you want to keep all the guys together for a season that was so great, but obviously this is a business and that's just rarely ever going to happen. So it's good to see him get his money and go play for another team and like a lot of Seattle players, there's never any ill will towards any of these guys who, find a better deal somewhere else. So hopefully he just doesn't hurt us too much. I don't know if we probably play the Mets for like 3 games this season. So hopefully it's in Seattle. And we can give him a standing ovation when he comes back because he certainly deserves it after last year. But, you know, hats off to Jorge for getting his money. And, you know, I'll always have that game where I was in the stands and he hit the walk off. So I'll definitely never forget it. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if we could have re-signed him for the right amount, I would have been okay with it. But at the same time, too, you got young prospects that you're looking forward to coming up. So, as you guys said, I'm glad that he got his money worth. Yeah, his money's worth. Yeah. Um, just killed it in the beginning of the season, kind of faded for the majority of the rest of it. I mean, he had a little bit of hot and cold, but mainly cold. And then the playoffs, he was an absolute stud. Um, so yeah, interesting that he's going to the Mets of teams, but you know, if they're giving me that kind of money, I would go there too. So do it. Give me the money now.
And two other moves I want to mention. The Mariners signed Rob Ref Snyder to a 1-year contract, and then they acquired left-handed pitcher Jose Ferrer from the Nationals
Yeah.
for prospects for Harry Ford was the main prospect in that one. So, Kevin, what'd you think of the signing and this deal that the Mariners made?
Um, we'll start with the signing. That guy, he's a good utility bat and defense. Essentially, he's kind of your Dylan Moore going into the season. Um, Also, we might say goodbye to um, Luke Raley possibly too, but since he's second week first base and outfield. But I imagine they'll probably see if he can play other positions too other than first base. But overall, what I could see just solid. Um, and then Ferrer has some very filthy stuff as a left-hander. Like he adds a really good mix to the bullpen and just having a dominant lefty. Um, God, some of the tape I was watching of him is honestly it got me excited and also made me sick at the same time just because it was so dang filthy. But giving up Harry Ford was kind of like, ugh, for that. Like I knew because essentially the writing was on the wall that Harry Ford was going to get traded because I mean you have Cal Raleigh and then, but would I like to got more for it? Yeah, but it is what it is. Not much we can do about it. I wish him the best of luck in Washington. And this bullpen is even filthier now than what it already was. So, and I think, do we have Santos coming back next year?
No, we cut him.
Oh, we got him. Okay. So, but adding a sick lefty is always it's always nice.
Sean, what'd you think?
Um, Rob is, I believe, 34, 35, something like that. His job is to mash lefties. That's his whole job. We have enough righty guys. We have, um, Canzone and Victor who can do that. And Kevin's point, probably Luke Rayleigh's probably gone at that point. We have guys who can mash righties, and the lefties kind of give us a problem. This guy mashes lefties. That's his job. That's why he's here. So when they bring in a lefty, we're not like, oh no, what are we doing? He's here to hit lefties and play some outfield. So that's his job, and he does it very well. I mean, hopefully this is the year his numbers, because we've done it in the past where we bring in an outfield guy and they fall off the face of the earth when we come in here. So hopefully that's not the case now, but that's his job, and he's a part-time player, and like he's going to be a platoon guy, and that's totally fine. If he just keeps up even close to his numbers last couple of years, it'll be awesome. Um, as for the arm, so I know some people saw the ERA Jose and were like, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing here?" This is why you don't look at this, or it's ERA is important, or it's a metric, but there's much better metrics out there. His advanced numbers are, like to Kevin's point, are nasty, nasty. The nerd crew loves him, and he was their closer for a reason, and they love this guy. He had terrible defense behind him last year. That's what, and they weren't errors, air quote. They should have been, gobbled up, but that's all. Don't get into errors versus not errors and ERA or run versus unrun runs debate here. But his stuff's nasty, and he's a lefty. So to Kevin's point, you get four arms in that bullpen now that are just nasty, and he's got 4 years of control too. You got two lefties and two righties that are just filthy, and Gabe Spire and him, and then Mash, or I just combined their names, Munoz and Brash.
Hey, Mash, that's a pretty
Mash,
good
there you go.
nickname duo for him.
Yeah. They that's going to be a filthy back four. And then plus whoever else you get, even in the other innings to fill in, that's going to be fantastic. Kevin's point, yeah, Harry Ford. I've been on the one where I was like, oh yeah, you got to get more for Harry Ford. After it came out, though, it was clear that his value has dropped in the eyes of professional baseball for a while now, and it doesn't look like we were going to get much more for Harry Ford than that, which is like a shame. But one, it looks like teams' trust of him being able to hit with for power at the next level was very much in risk, and his defense hasn't progressed like the way they wanted it to. So teams were very down on. I think the Mariners fans loved Harry Ford, and myself included, more than the rest of baseball did, and that showed by what they got. But again, they needed a lefty bullpen arm that has nasty stuff, and they got it, and they got it for 4 years for a guy that, like to Kevin's point, wasn't ever going to play because you have Cal Raleigh. So you got a huge need for 4 years for a guy who wasn't going to play for you for 4 years. Again, it's not the sexy name that everybody wanted, but and the sexy name I thought was coming along, but more that came out was, okay, this was pretty good return for what Harry Ford's value was with the rest of actual baseball. I hope he kills it. I hope he proves baseball wrong. But I just don't think it's not like some people are like, man, what did Jerry do? What did Jerry do? I think that Jerry very rarely is like often like when the process goes through is like fleeced for a deal, like on the surface. And that's what they said. And it wasn't Jerry that said this. It was like baseball national writers said that the Mariners or the perceived value of Harry Ford was much higher than it was in MLB circles. And I tend to believe that's Jerry usually gets pretty good value in these trades. And I think all things considered, he got a decent value for what the value of Harry Ford was, according to Major League Baseball. So not what we thought it was, but it's apparently the other 29 people with actual power in baseball thought this was what it was. So
All right. Well, let us know what you thought of the Mariners offseason, Naylor, Polanco, Ref Snyder, Ferrer. Go ahead and blue sky at us. I'm a Master B. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is Emerald Bowler Onyx. Kevin is C to believe, SCA to believe. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Subscribe to us on YouTube and let us know what you think in the comments below. We're going to be weekly while the Seahawks are going into the playoffs. So we'll be here talking about the Seahawks playoffs. And if we have more time outside of that, we'll maybe touch on some Kraken, some Torrent. We can talk Sounders if you want to. I mean, Sea will start in March. Bring back the
Dude,
Sonics.
Torrent
So
is Torrent is fun. Did you see the open ice hit the other day?
yeah, yeah,
Dude, it is spicy over there. I'm just
yeah.
saying.
I
People
gotta, I
need
gotta
to
get to a
like
game. I gotta get to a game at some point.
yeah, you
So
could probably find super cheap tickets too. You need to get to a game if you're over in the Seattle area because
yeah,
it is those girls play. Like
yeah.
it is no holds bar, man.
They're getting
Like
ready
it
for
is so much
Olympics,
fun.
and it shows. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
oh yeah, it's super fun.
All right. Well, with that, we will see you next week on Washington East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics.